I really don't think it matters at that point. Like, I understand how there could be a difference, but I just think that when it comes to kids and playing, they really don't care, and I don't remember ever caring.
Non-gender toy?
Yeah.
A ball? I mean, something that's like not meant for, like, or not directed towards like either gender, you know, intentionally. Because I mean, yeah, because there's definitely is like a cultural climate or a cultural push to have one gender experience like one toy versus or certain subset of toys versus the other, and I think that now that's kind of going away, that there's like kind of like an intersectionality between it.
I guess playing with Legos.
Legos.
Like it's kind of thought of as more of a boys' toy, but you could basically build anything with Legos. Like it's not really like identified as a gender.
I have never fallen under the idea that toys were gendered. I have 3 little brothers, and 2 of them play with Barbie dolls almost every day.
Okay,
Like
that's awesome.
we have toys everywhere in my house. I always thought it was stupid that people would say they couldn't play with a toy or play with a toy. When I grew up, I played with, sticks that I found in the woods as swords, and I would give them to my little brother, and he would literally have a doll that my cousin gave him, and then a sword that I gave him. He'd be wandering around the woods. It's just, kids are kids. They're gonna do whatever they want.
I feel like most toys should be genderless. Like, what's to say, like, why boys can't play with dolls?
Gender identification is how you identify, whether it's female or male, whether it's gender neutral. It's a social construction.
Gender identification is just how a particular person chooses to identify. I'm like really now starting to learn more about gender fluidity.
Okay.
But essentially I just feel like it comes down to what kind of gender role someone feels that they identify more with, whether it's like a male gender role or a female gender role.
Gender identification is how you identify yourself in your head. You can be male, you can be female. It could be different than your sex. It could be the same.
Yeah, so how someone identifies is either male or female or somewhere in between.
I think there's probably 2 schools of thought lately. I think the most primary one would be biologically. You identify with your, biologically how your body is made. And I think some people identify, emotionally or like, mentally as a different gender.
Male or female, transgender, stuff like that. Kind of shortish hair, more like masculine features. I mean, sometimes a little like softer feminine features also. Like a strong jawline, kind of built more muscular.
A boy, normally, I would say like masculine would be like muscles, facial hair, short hair, no makeup normally. Kind of more loose fitting clothes.
Short hair, masculine, sports, action movies.
To me, that's so hard, because I feel like a lot of the ways that I would describe how I identify as a male just fits how most people would describe their role in the world and like towards their families in general. But I do feel that, like, for example, one major stereotype is that men should provide for their families, and I do feel strongly about that. I do feel strongly that, when I do have a family, that I should be someone that they can count on and that I can provide for them at any time, you know what I mean?
I think being a guy is more, or being a man is a difference. I think it's more of some of the stuff I said earlier, like trying your best to take care of the people that you're with, whether it be, your little siblings, male or female, you try to give care to the people underneath you or with you. God, that's a difficult question.
Take your time.
Usually it means that you're going to be independent. You're going to do your best to be on your own feet at all times. Like, I don't take anything from my parents. I haven't since I was like 18 or 19. I pay all my own bills and stuff like that.
Sure.
I don't know and I'm sure there's many women that do that also, but I'm just saying that's something that I identify as, is I try to be separate from them so they don't have to take care of me, so.
Someone who doesn't necessarily think that like the label of male or female really fits them, and so they kind of make their own thing.
That honestly is really hard for me to do, and I think that as a society we kind of struggle with that because we're just so used to that binary of male and female. I don't think that I can imagine a no-gender person, honestly. I mean, like, the best image that I can think of in my mind is someone who I wouldn't be able to tell even biologically, and they just dressed very neutrally. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell even by the way they dressed. You know, and that's the only thing that I can think of.
I've never heard of the term non-gender.
I've only met one in my lifetime that I've known about, because I feel like they kind of look like anybody else. It's kind of more just like within them, like how if they have no gender, then I think it's more like within you and like for you than like physical appearance. Cause
I don't remember when exactly I first heard it. I mean, I've heard people talk about it before. I mean, it's an interesting concept. I don't know if I necessarily agree with all of the stuff that I hear about it, but I want to say it was the internet probably. I heard it in some article or something I was reading. Probably late high school.
They're fluid, like they might dress up like a male. Well, I have a friend who gender neutral. Born female is more masculine, but she doesn't really, or they don't really identify as anything.
Kind of just like smooth facial features, kind of, I guess, what people would call kind of baby face-ish. Slim, not like as built muscle-wise.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
gender-wise, pretty, for me, feminine, like long hair, like to wear makeup sometimes. Like this, like society's, what their stereotypes are of women, I feel like I kind of embody myself a little bit, but yeah.
I guess your body typically is built a little bit differently. Like women usually have wider hips and guys have narrow hips. I guess statistically they're usually slightly shorter than guys, but that's not always what happens.
Yeah.
Usually longer hair, but honestly not that much anymore. I guess that's what you think of in like the 60s or 50s as a girl. I mean, you know, just normally what you think of, they identify as a woman, so they're going to do usually more feminine tasks and or things that they do, like...
I mean, long hair, makeup,
I guess, but I mean that would be like what would like be textbook defined as non-gender. Like, I mean, you could just say like I don't live a gendered life, basically.
Yeah.
And like you could just go about doing the same things that you do every day.
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because I identify very strongly with being a male. You know what I mean? So I can't imagine the non-gendered life. Like my whole like life and way of thinking and perception and view of the world comes from the male perspective.
No, I don't. I mean, it's great for like some people and like works for them, but I just think that I'm a female. I don't know.
No, I couldn't.
No.
No, it's too much of who I am.
Hey, I'm Val.
I'm Nicole, and we decided to do our project on gender identity.
Through the interviews that we conducted, we realized that people are very uncomfortable with terms such as gender, gender nonconforming, characteristics such as masculinity and femininity, and we decided to explore that.
We interviewed students around Florida State, and what we found was there was a bit of discrepancy in the answers between male and female. They didn't really know what to say, or I don't think they've ever been approached with these type of questions. So our goal at this project is to start a conversation. We have a hashtag, Let's Talk About Gender, and at the end of this video there are resources throughout Florida State that you can use to feel safe and protected when you have conversations about gender or to find more information on it.
So let's talk about gender.